Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's Sporting Goods. By the new Smiling Moose Deli Mighty Mo Express at Gate B. And by Adidas. Impossible is nothing. Adidas Soccer. As you can see, a beautiful day at Dick's Sporting Goods Park for the Rapids and Toronto FC. And before kickoff, Marcelo, you heard head coach Gary Smith. He always says he wants a bright start, quick start at home. First goal, always important.
Very important. I think that's something that every team wants, especially when you're at home. Maybe press the first 5-10 minutes, see if you can pull something out real quick, and then you start backing off a little bit. But Colorado needs a much better start. We saw against Chicago, the second half start they had. Slow, it cost them a goal, a penalty kick.
Yep.
Chicago got right back in the game. And I think you got to take away what happened in Kansas City. Small field, different dynamics, and this is a much better place for Colorado to play.
As we look at the Rapids huddle, let's take a look at the starting 11 for Preki and Toronto FC. We said De Rosario up top and Barrett, Chad Barrett, a UCLA guy. And we'll see what they do in the midfield. You see some ex-Rapids names.
No, you see LaBroca, you see a kid like Cronin. I mean, you just see Peterson off the bench. But a 4-4-2, a little different than they played at home the other day in a 4-5-1. So this is the team that's planted that we saw like last year.
So that's Preki's side. There's the goalkeeper, Stefan Fry, the Swissman out of Cal Berkeley. Let's look at Gary Smith and the Rapids lineup, which is brought to you by Floyd's 99 Barbershops. Old school, new style. Same back four from the first two games with Baudet out.
Yeah, you're really seeing the same thing. Baudet out, Moore drops back in, Danny Earl drops into the left back. You see the same midfield. Difference is Jamie Smith now coming in into that side, to the right side to get a little more creativity.
And Matt Pickens, with his 1-1-1 record, again will be in goal for the Rapids. And Pickens and the Rapids underway as Toronto FC controls in the back off the kickoff. 7th all-time meeting between these two teams. Clark head up, tries to play Cummings, shows, holds. Little idea there to get one through to Connor Casey, and it just rolled on him. Barrett, 1v1 with Moore. Drew Moore comes through, plays it back to Pickens. He'll give a look and just go long with the left. Out to the right side, Toronto FC. De Guzman in the middle. And all the way back to Adekura. He'll start it up again with Fry. Adekura, the Canadian Player of the Year the last 2 years running. And they expect him to be in the back for quite some time for Toronto FC.
A lot of pressure on this team. You know, great fans. They expect a lot. They went to turf, from turf to grass this year, so they're expecting a lot from these players.
There's our Health One injury report brought to you by Health One, leading hospitals, trusted care. Not a lot of concerns, I think, for either side in terms of their veteran players and their key starters. There's Jamie Smith turned around, receives one, trying to play Cummings. Gets the header away from Adekura right down to Cummings. Rapids have to play on. Lorenowicz gives it a go as Adekura is down near the 18. We've seen Lorenowicz with that hard right already early this season, coming over from the Revolution.
He's got a great shot. We saw it in New England. Got a cannon. You saw that by lace it just over the top of it. And that's what you want from Colorado. You want, and this is the kind of things, you want that second ball, the knockdowns, being brought back. Watch this. We talked about knockdowns. Poor clear. Doesn't even hold it. Just touches it. Here it comes, the rip from behind. And that's what you want. As soon as you start doing things like that, that's going to force a defense to step up, and that's when you can start finding a little bit of a gap.
Rapids are going to throw in. Kimura finds Cummings down the right wing. Plays Smith. One touch. Lorenowicz coming through. Great idea. And Connor Casey back to try to grab it, couldn't control. Boy, if Lorenowicz came through on that one, Cello, he was through to the 18.
Just a little touch.
Yeah.
Just a little touch. But, you know, that's something I think we've been waiting for Jamie Smith. We've only seen him play a few games, 5 games. And that's something that I think he got hurt last year. He couldn't play. Expectations are high for fans. I think fans want to see what he can do down the right-hand side. I think right there you saw the vision. He already had that ball. He tried to lace in right in between players to Lorenowicz running onto that.
Usinoff will take the throw in. And here comes Toronto FC again in their own zone. Atakura gives a look and holds. Julian de Guzman on the ball. As he plays De Rosario. LaBroca now. Clark with the steal. Good toe poke from Casey. Larentowicz has Smith but plays Kimura. He looks up. Now Wynn. Marvell Wynn, of course, going against his former team. Earls back in on the left side. Cummings, thigh trap. Larentowicz. Little nick. Casey tried to play it. Earls comes through. Wins that 50-50 ball. Jamie Smith, good with the body, can't control by Cronin. He'll turn it the other way. Stephen Fry, who was the 13th overall pick in 2009, and now makes his 30th start in MLS play. Cronin wins that header. It'll run on him for a throw-in. By the way, Ricardo Salazar is the man in the middle and the ref of the match. De Guzman, little traffic here on the near side. Kimura. Barrett, touch header. De Rosario trying to run on it. Moore, good clear to the left side. Earls try to play Colin Clark up that wing. Left-footed, you got to play it around him on the outside, or because you can't expect Cummings to.
The wind is blowing that way, so you can see that ball just kind of take off a little bit. Yeah, it's a hard ball. It's a hard ball running like that, trying to get it to bend in. It's got to be a delicate touch.
Trying to go over the top. Larentowicz running onto it. Good hustle by Larentowicz. Rapids throwing on the near side. Last year, these two teams played a home-and-home in September. Rapids won here on a Connor Casey goal. I thought there was a hard tackle there. And then Toronto won 3-2 at home a week later.
Both were great games. Back and forth, back and forth.
7th all-time meeting here this afternoon. As Gary Smith looks on.
Get him to dance around that mark.
Keeper Fry will start it up out of the back. They may want to have a. They may want to have the center back started up out of the back next time. Now, what do you do when you're on the field? Don't you look, Marcelo, and say, where?
You know,
I'm here. That's
not used to the altitude. You can see him hit it.
Okay.
Drives it a little far. The wind's kind of moving and shifting. Now it's going across the field. You know, a goalkeeper coming out that far is only one thing. It's to push your line a little higher to see if you can trap him and maybe drop a ball on top of the 18 to see if you can close him back in there.
Switching fields, and Maxim Usanov got to that just before Clark. I know this is a running thing all year. Keeper that you played with, best with his feet.
Ooh.
Any kind of.
They were all pretty bad. No, I mean, look at it.
Oh, I know. I saw many games.
They can all drive the ball.
Right.
Tony Miola from Brad Friedel. But we didn't have that many goalkeepers that would come out. No Jorge Campos that like to really play. The ball would roll, and it would just whoom right up the field. But I would say, you know what? It's funny to say, and you're not going to believe this. Marcus Hahnemann, I think out of all of them, was the guy who tried with his feet more.
I sort of believe that. I remember Joe Cannon, too. I always thought Joe would be a little bit better than he was.
Yeah. They all think they're better than they are. Just like we think we're better than we are.
I got you.
But, yeah, I would say Hahnemann.
Clark runs on it. Smith is open on the far right if he wants him, but he'll go to goal. Trying to get on the dribble. Gets the left off and just wide of the frame. If he wanted to, he could have switched fields and played Jamie Smith down the right flank, but You prefer going to goal there with that left?
You know, I think so. From that position right there, he's going to play a 30-yard ball out to the right, and then it comes back across. Look at the room he's got. He's able to set it up to his left foot. Look at all the space he still has. Finally, somebody closes. He gets a great shot. It just goes wide. But look at all the space he had. Toronto's defense keeps dropping. I think it's the same theme we're going to have all year with defenses. They're so worried about that little ball dinked in behind them with Omar's pace that they keep dropping off.
Because once they're backing up and it gets behind them.
I'll take my chances in front of me than having to get into a foot race with Omar Cummings.
Ty Harden, familiar name, touches that one out. The University of Washington product. Lorenowitz thought about it. Going to try to come back this way. Pressure. Kimura does what he could. Casey on the far side will try to run it down. He's got Earls trailing if he needs it. Sends it in. Right to Pablo. De Guzman able to steal. Finds Barrett up top. De Rosario making a run. Came near him. But Barrett had to control. Switches fields now. In the back is Toronto. Patient. Started up through the middle. Zaret sent it out to the right. Now they'll go back again. We should say that Toronto did just play on Thursday.
Yep.
And the Rapids played on Tuesday as that got away from Rusanov. Drew Moore with the header. Rosario actually showing coming back to the ball. Goes up top. Here's Pickens. Kimura coming down the right side, near side.
You know, I got to say, I'm not a big fan of that Thursday night game and then have to play Sunday. Quick turnaround for teams.
Smith keeps his run going. Casey has it knocked away. Yeah, you know, and we were talking about New York, but a couple of weeks ago, didn't they have to go to Seattle?
Yep.
And then come back home and then fly to LA. And I know the travel can be taxing for sure. Toronto was at home.
It's tough. You know, it was an emotional win. They needed to win at home. So it's always tough. Same with Colorado, you know, having to play on Tuesday night. Open Cup game. Take some legs out of you. You don't get home till Wednesday. You start training on Thursday again.
Played through. Wins there. Somehow got his foot up. But the flag was up on that cross. Through 10 minutes here, what do you see?
You know what? I see two teams that are just trying to feel each other out.
Well, Cummings was on there if that got over top.
He was ready to raise the flag. He was waiting. He won't raise, the referee won't raise the flag until the ball gets over and he gets near a touch on it. So it's just two teams you could see that are very organized right now, are very patient, trying to feel out where the gaps are. That's what I've seen the first 10 minutes.
This Maxim Usanov, a Russian that started last week. This team, Preki, said it feels like preseason. They have 5 players that they broke camp with. And that's it. They've made a number of changes in the first few weeks of the season. Lorenowitz finds Smith. Little toe poke. Good enough. Casey. Cummings. Has Clark. Plays him wide on the left. In the box. Clark looks up. With the left. Can't get it through. LaBroca there to step it away. Fans don't miss the Rapids Lads Night Out. That's 2 tickets, 2 beers, and 2 Rapids beanies, all for only $49. And the next Rapids Lads Night Out is the Wednesday, May the 5th game, where the LA Galaxy are in town. Order your Rapids Lads Night Out package today at ColoradoRapids.com. Next home game for the Rapids, in fact, is that May 5th match. They'll head to New England next weekend and then San Jose the weekend after that. Atakora, Harden on the near side. Plays it through Adrian Kahn, and now they'll stay on the opposite side. Kimura probably get on that as comes to Cronin. Sends a cross through. De Rosario trying to beat Moore there. Well, that's Kimura. You want to do something with that, don't you?
Gotta say, I didn't think there was going to be much of that ball. Such a long
Yeah.
ball. You know, misjudged it a little bit. Kimura all of a sudden he gets out. Crone gets in behind.
Pickens came, played Pablo between two of his defenders.
Well, there's your keeper you wanted. Play with his feet.
I saw.
Confident.
I'm not sure the whole decision process prior to that was what he had in mind, but it worked out okay.
You know, I'd say 10% of most passes in the game don't end up where you want them to go, but they end up to your teammates, so it looks good. We'll go with that.
Boy, I like that. That's a good way of looking at it, yeah. Lorenowitz, tough ball. That's all he could do with that. And just set it up the other way. A little pressure from Clark. That's what we were talking about. You can take a quick throw here, get everybody up. Clark will leave it for Danny Earls. Stephen Fry. As I mentioned, his 30th start. He'll be 24 next week. Broca trying to dribble through. Obviously, Nick familiar with this field and the Rapids in general. The trade went down right before the start of the season, and there's Marvell Wynn, who came over from Toronto. Kimura, Smith shows. Holds, plays back, Wynn. To get it going again. Nothing in the middle for the Rapids, so they'll switch fields. A lot of possession from the back four from each side. Almost made a mistake. Rosario, a little bit of pressure. Connor Casey. First played a few games for Toronto. They play on. Salazar allows Casey to dribble. Sends Danny Earls down the left side. It's a back from Omar. Earls, nice little toe poke. And try to get a cross off. Can't do it. It slid out. First corner of the game. And that's what you've wanted to see over the course of the first three games, where some of those backs can get up into an offensive spot.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about, outside play. Good little ball. I like the go and touch around. I like that he gets in, but that's what we talked about. Chicago the first half. Earl's getting in there. Kimura getting in there. Creativity from the outsides.
Low cross, somehow it got through De Rosario. Lorenowitz trying to poke at it. Earls gets one down, and he's got it down towards the frame. Difficult to do from that far out.
Tough to get power
right
from there, but he did a nice job. He kept it nice and low and just went wide.
Sometimes you do those in training, those drills where you're just messing around.
Yeah.
And,
you never know. If you get it somewhere near target, if you put it on target, it's got a shot at going in, right?
Then Cello goes, oh, my quad. I gotta get the trainer in. I got a little bit of a quad issue. Not really sure how that happened. There's your shots on goal early on. Omar Cummings trying to go over the top. Fry is there. Interesting, you know, Preki was named the head coach of this team in November. He had been let go by Chivas. Ironically, he coached Chivas in the first game ever for Toronto FC. Chivas won that game. But probably considering Toronto and the great support they have, I think it's a good move for Toronto FC. And, you know, Mo Johnson makes some of the decision-making in the front office.
You know, they had to make some changes and go in a different direction, so yeah.
De Rosario on the run. Barrett's back post. Clark gets in the way. Earls plays it out.
Yeah, it's an organization that's dying to make the playoffs. 3
Yeah.
years, they've had such great support. The other night, 21,000. They talked about having 17,000 waiting list for season tickets. This is an organization that needed to change, and I think this is a crucial year for this franchise. Under Preki's first year, Mo Johnson's under the gun right now, too, of putting this team into the playoffs because he's a technical director. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on this organization.
Yeah, BMO Field, they capped the season tickets at 16,000. You just mentioned the waiting list they have, and it holds 21,800.
Yep.
So there's Preki, and there's Leo behind him, another familiar face. One of the former Rapids coaches, LaBroca, sends one through. More slips. Fortunately, so did De Rosario. Camora with a foot race against Cronin plays it out. And Harden will take the throw in. Rapids dealt Harden to Toronto in February. Smith, head up, plays Cummings. Nice through ball. Connor Casey making a run inside. Cummings, great ball. Oh, and it's headed out by Atakura. On the run, Cummings hits a bullet that Connor Casey would have been on, but Atakura was there to knock it out for the second corner.
Great ball by Jamie Smith. Look at this ball late in it. Good timing. Ball's just starting to die for him. Look at the pace Omar. Lines drive it. Atakura does a nice job. Keeps his ground. Just puts in front of it. But look at Omar Cummings just ripping this ball across. Great cross. And matter of maybe a foot or two, and it's over the top.
So Colin Clark will line it up with the left. Gets air under that corner, too much of it, and it's going to run to the other side. And a throw in coming up. You know, I know everybody's watched Omar Cummings for many, many games, but I don't see a lot of holes in his game at all, in any regard, Marcelo.
You know, listen.
He's strong.
Yeah, agree.
He's got pace.
Yep.
He hit that cross. He can. You saw the goals he scored this year.
You know, listening to him a little bit before the game and talking, and every year you have to do something a little different. You have to refine your game as a forward because people start to get to know your tendencies. And every year, Omar Cummings changes a little bit. Now he's starting to dribble a little more. You can see how much better he's starting to dribble with the ball. He's connecting more with Connor Casey. Little things like that. To be honest, I'm surprised, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm surprised he's still a Colorado Rapid, because I figured some European team would have seen the kind of pace, the mobility he has, along with Connor Casey, and somebody would have been dying to get somebody like that.
Casey trying to knock De Guzman off, can't do it. Here comes Toronto. Saric through the middle. Barrett shows, little touch to him. Now they're looking for De Rosario up top, out to LaBroca if he can control it, and just a little bit too much pace got by him. Here's a look at Julian De Guzman, who played in Spain, 29. Another Ontario guy. I know some of the the Canadians will come from here, but he played in Spain at one point. And expected to control the midfield.
I was waiting where you were leading with that one. I didn't know where you were going.
Well, it looks like he's going to be there. Yeah?
No, pressure. He's a designated player.
Yeah.
$3 million. He's the second most paid player behind David Beckham. You expect a lot from this guy. A lot from this guy.
I would say, that would be an understatement.
You know, if you're paying $3 million for Landon Donovan, the way he's producing, completely different. So there's pressure for De Guzman. There's no doubt about it. He's the guy that they brought in to make this machine run. He's that piston, that heart in the middle, and that's what they're waiting for.
Witt and Pablo both had to go up high to win balls. And Adrian Kahn, the Louisville product, knocks that up and out. Remember, he was a 2004 Rapids pick. Gary Smith looks on into the Rapids bench.
Squeeze in center off. Too slow.
Mora did a nice job just to get it through. Clark looks. There's Pablo. Thought about hitting it. Clark held his run. Pablo knocked down. Play on. Nakamura sends one in. Not enough curl on that one. And Fry away with it. Hey fans, Colorado Rapids season tickets still available. So guarantee your spot to be at every Rapids game this year. And your season tickets feature 0% interest pricing and exclusive benefits. Pick up your season tickets, call 303-825-GOAL or ColoradoRapids.com. Cummings 1v1 with Harden. Tries to cut him, Harden there, hits his arm. What's the call? PK. It's from the spot for the Rapids. Harden was taken off his feet by the move and fell on the ground. It was Adrian Kahn actually that came down and was kind of undressed there by Cummings.
Let's see. Comes inside. Let's see. It hits his head. Hits his head.
He didn't complain.
No.
Did he say it just hit him in the face?
He said he hit him in the head. The referee said it hit him in the hand.
Just from the start, too, watching Kahn and the left side with Harden. I was thinking you got to go at those guys.
First of all, you're terrified if you're Con.
Yeah.
You've got Omar Cummings running at you full speed one-on-one. So that's what's going to happen. You back up, and then he slips. It's not like you tried to tackle him. He goes down, he slips. Omar Cummings does what he's supposed to do, run at the guy. That's what you dream of.
Connor Casey buried his PK a couple of weeks ago, and he's ready to take one from the spot against Stephen Fry here in the 24th minute. So Omar Cummings and his speed and pace wins the PK. And Casey, a little chip, and the Rapids have the early lead. Gary Smith said he wanted a bright start from his side, and thanks to Omar Cummings, Connor Casey able to complete that PK, and the supporters are happy. Here's a look at our all-copy replay on the PK.
Now there's not much you can do right there. Goalkeeper Sigley, he's guessing. Obviously, he saw the game last week where he's trying to go into that corner, and you give it to Connor Casey. A little cheeky, that's a la Preki. I've seen Preki do that before with Kansas City. He does the same thing right down the middle.
Against Preki's team, Rapids up 1-0, 24th minute from the spot. And Connor Casey now has his 31st goal and continues to move up on that list in terms of goal scoring and career goal scoring for the Rapids. Third goal, too, in his career against Toronto.
Well, now it's important. The next 5 minutes for Colorado. This is where they've got to keep pushing. Can't give up anything. You got them on their heels. Maybe you can pick up a second one. They're a little down after the penalty call. You push the pace a little bit now, and you see what you can do.
Pickens gets a lot of air into that. Eludes Casey. Adekora. A little pressure from Cummings. He's going to have to play it. Trying to let it roll, and finally turns it. And wins a restart right there. There's a look at Adekora out of York University in Ontario, and Omar Cummings. Drifting ball over the top. Cronin, Barrett. Former player for the Fire, of course, traded for McBride. De Guzman. Cronin leaves it, keeps his run going. Room for Barrett. Finds Rosario near the spot, trying to get a little control. De Guzman on the run, touches back. Zarek there, and that one was a little bit dangerous, more dangerous than I think Larentowicz and Pickens wanted, but it went off Larentowicz for the corner. Rosario, good job. He's good back to goal there and able to control it.
He's good, but that's not his position.
Right.
He's not a guy that likes to play with like Omar Cummings. Do you want Omar Cummings facing the goal or with his back? He's a guy that can do
running
both.
onto the ball.
Exactly.
LaBroca, nice ball, headed away by Moore. Here comes Clark across the field. Turns it up with the right. And slid out. And the Rapids will take the throw in at midfield. 1-0. Connor Casey, the PK, 24th minute. There's Preki. Good look at Preki. Both Marcelo and I said that we would not pronounce his entire full name, even though he's the new head coach. Preki. Great player.
Just like Pele, it's Pele, full name.
Great players get that. And remember when he got his citizenship here and played for the national team. It was always a good thing. Jamie Smith can look up. Pablo kind of came through. Now he goes midfield to Larentowicz. Switch it, Earls. Tough ball to control, a little bit of a breeze there. Kind of ran on it. I'm heading. Oh, you know that happened? You're there on it?
Oh, yeah. Line drive, answer. Do I jump and head it down? Do I chest trap it? It's starting to drop on me now.
Oh, I took that off the cheek. I can't.
The idea was right, though.
Yeah.
From one side of the field, the ball comes in. Earls was open on the other side, just a little too much.
More on Pablo in the back. Drew looks up. Flicked on. Cummings on his horse trying to beat Kahn. And that's the dangerous flick on header that Connor Casey is so good at. Cummings behind the defense. Within the 18, looks for help. Lorenowitz coming through. Can't get it on the left. Touches it back. LaBroca there. And he'll send it away.
Gotta love the ball, boys. See how quick everybody was looking at the ball going to the stands. Clark grabs the ball real quick throw in.
There's LaBroca. He's from Staten Island. I think he wanted to go back more towards the East Coast. Plays soccer there. Zamora now. A little bit of time. Jamie Smith told him that. Clark. LaBroca comes on. Nobody tells you, so you lose it in midfield. There's Ty Harden. Far side, De Guzman making a run. He's wide open, gets the chip pass. Traps it, trying to beat Moore. Good stick by Drew Moore, but still De Guzman there, even though Earl's got a foot in. And the Rapids still will get the throw in. Marcelo Gary Smith said that Drew Moore's play last week as a left back in Kansas City in that small field, he termed it terrific.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Because Baudet was in the middle.
Yeah, Baudet was in the middle, big, strong. You know, you've got great players. Baudet is going to be a guy who's good in the air, very good in the aerial game, very good as a leader back there, organizing, pushing people on, and moving people in the right direction. So yeah, you could see Drew Moore sliding out to the left-hand side and feeling and doing a good job out there.
Clark going at the D with his left. Plays Earls. Gonna send one through away from Kahn. Runowitz, a little bit of time. And Kahn away. They wanted to get to Earls anyway on that far side.
And that's the difference of having a Drew Moore. But good young players. Earls has a left foot. He can get down the wing, whip that ball in.
Real tough header comes inside Casey in the 18. Smith, good chip at the right. And just a little bit too long for Cummings, who was back post. Better from the Rapids, though, as we're through 30.
Much better. You know, and you're looking at a team that, like Toronto, they're stepping up. They're trying to put pressure. That's going to benefit Colorado, finding the gaps, Pablo. Lorenowitz turning, getting the ball out wide. Jamie Smith has been open quite a bit. We've seen Colin Clark over the last 5 or 6 minutes get a few more runs down the wing. Danny Earls getting in down the wing. So it's starting to open up a little bit for Colorado.
Casey, I think, was trying to play Kimura, but it came right at Pablo, so he was happy to trap it and start it up again. Moore. Tight spot, but Earls can send Clark. Clark going to go down by the flag. Adekora has to show. Colin Clark trying to make a move there where he would have been through, but Adekora knocked it out. Pablo head up, trying to play Smith. Those defenders are just kind of, you know, sticking their leg out on some of those. That's tough to trust. You know what I mean?
You know, I got to go back. A little bit of wind. We talked about how much of the movement of this new ball.
Yep.
It's coming. You can see a lot of players are hesitating, looking at the ball. You saw that when he's lunging for 2 or 3.
Too long for De Rosario. Pickens there, looking to distribute. Will to Earls.
You know, that's the other thing you got to question too. Is De Rosario really the focal
The
center,
the Lone Ranger up top?
Up top,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Is
I
Chad
agree.
Barrett, does De Rosario play better maybe in that midfield role where he can create and run at people from behind the 2 forwards? That's the other thing. You know, if you had someone like Dicchio, you could let De Rosario float a little more and chase the ball and find the game.
Kimura backs up for the throw-in in front of the Toronto bench. Reese and somehow get around Kahn.
Well, the question is, why didn't Kahn attack the ball? Why didn't he let it bounce?
It sounded like he heard his footsteps from Cummings and just
Even
kind of
so,
froze
even
up.
More
I know.
so to attack the ball. Once you let it bounce, you're giving Omar Cummings an opportunity to get underneath it.
Clark holds Earls. Little overlap. He'll play him. Lorenowitz shows. And Lorenowitz wins that free kick. Just saw Gary Smith. He was on the bench. He motioned to Mehdi Bellucci to start at least getting loose. Kahn trying to play Barrett over the top. It's a foot race between Moore and Barrett. And Moore wins it and wins the foul as well. He had position. He won the ball. Barrett tried to shoulder him. I guess once is enough. 2-3 times.
Well, he had the hand on the
did.
shoulder. When he turned, the referee already had his flag up, and then he let him keep going. You take a look. There's the first one. You can see him holding. The referee's already got his flag. He's got him holding, and here comes the second one. He grabs him, he throws. You see the referee already had his flag up. Drew Moore does a great job right there. Gets in between the player, the ball, then he spins him to the inside and forces Barrett to the outside. Great positioning and great job.
Pablo, tough ball. De Rosario, he won the foul though. Sarich was all over him, but I thought Pablo was in a little bit of no man's land there. And sometimes, you know, when you go back, you make that pass and it just doesn't have enough on it.
But it's good to be a veteran.
It is.
The benefit of the doubt.
And frankly, I think Pablo's been off to a pretty nice start here, and everybody knows his role. And he's done it well. Clark going right at goal. Uses the dribble for a second. Now Casey. Connor Casey switches to Kimura. Looks up, sees Cummings and Casey coming into the 18. Off to Renowitz's knee. Sam Cronin. Get back inside. Middle of the field, De Rosario has Barrett in front of him. The Rapids have numbers. Through ball, not going to get there. Credit Union of Colorado, a proud sponsor of the Rapids Rookie for a Day and the Rapids Community Coach Award. Visit them at any of their 15 Colorado locations or online at cuofco.org. Your life, your money, your way. Just joining us, the Rapids scored on a Connor Casey PK. Omar Cummings able to draw the foul from Adrian Kahn. Now Earls looks up. Clark's in the middle, but Lorenowitz comes out to Kimura. And Clark a little slow to speed in terms of the middle of the field, and looks like he might have taken a knock, but here comes Toronto trying to play it out of the back. Now this left side looks like it could be exploited by the Rapids with Harden
Ty
and
Harden
Kahn.
is a center back.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're putting him out on the left-hand side. Obviously, for you're looking because they're struggling, they can't find a left back. So obviously they put him in to go there. Most of the time he's a center back. So yeah, he's out of position. He's a guy you could probably go at.
LaBroca turns, looks up, trying to play Barrett, who's coming through. And a nice idea by Nicky LaBroca. Good skills all the time, right, from LaBroca. Good vision.
Hard-working guy, puts himself in a good position. You know what you're going to get from LaBroca.
Smith. Casey. Cummings on the run. You got to play it down to the flag a little bit too much. You try to inside out that, right? See if you can catch a little grass and knock it down.
Yeah. Try to just slice it with the outside of his foot to see if he can get it to just drop into that area. Got a little too much of the ball.
Are teams apt to allow Connor Casey to stay on the dribble in midfield and have to make a decision from there?
You know, I don't know. You take your pick.
Right, yeah.
You know, you want.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, you want Connor Casey running at you, or do you want Omar Cummings? You saw what Omar Cummings did in there. It gets you to wrong foot, he slips, penalty kick. But Connor Casey can still run at you, but more dangerous in the box.
Rapids did win their U.S. Open Cup game on Tuesday in Kansas City. They had lost last weekend 1-0. They won that one 2-1. Wells Thompson had both goals. He actually maybe came into that game at Kansas City on Saturday and had that ball come right to him in the 18 and had one of the Rapids' better chances in the MLS game. Burroughs just clears it with the right. So the Rapids will move on in the U.S. Open Cup tournament. As they beat Kansas City again in that tournament. I think they're 4-0 against Kansas City, at least in the U.S. Open Cup. And that was played on the road. Off of Burroughs, tough to anticipate that throw-in coming up. LaBroca. For somebody to show Barrett, little through ball, nice ball. Barrett at the 18 wins there, does enough to shield him off. Comes down to De Rosario, trying to chip it over Pickens. He was hung up with Barrett at the 6, and De Rosario was off the target. Nice ball though, that little through ball at the 18 to Barrett, and Marvell Wynn somehow got enough space in between Barrett and Pickens.
You talk about pace. You can't teach that. That's just there. And then you see Barrett getting up there. He was on the ground and just got ran over by Pickens as he was trying to get back into the goal.
Barrett's coming off of off-season foot surgery. Good ball.
Great ball in. Look at Marvell and just enough for the body. Now you'll see, here comes the back. He's running, and he just runs right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Great little ball. Yeah, but this is where it comes in. Now he sees it. He misclears it. Now look at him taking a step back. That's where he runs into Barrett.
Backs right into him because De Rosario's trying to chip him.
Yep.
And he's got to get back into the.
Nothing like getting hit once and then get run over by a guy that's 6'4".
Cummings trying to play Connor Casey and Adekora. We've mentioned his name a few times here in the first half where he's been the last man and done his job. So through 40, 1-0 Rapids. Fans, next time you're here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, stop by the Smiling Moose Deli by Gate B. Try the world's best sandwiches. Middle of the field. 5+ minutes away from the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report. We'll talk to head coach Gary Smith of the Rapids and get his thoughts on the first 45 as he stands along the sideline. Kamora, a little bit of space, tight on the near side, trying to play Cummings. These two teams meet again on Saturday, July the 10th. Obviously in Toronto, that is a 10 a.m. kickoff for us.
A little breakfast there.
Yep. LaBroca tried to just kind of keep it going, didn't have much of a choice. Drew Moore to Pablo. He can turn and look. And play Clark trying to make a run down the left side. And just a little bit too much, but Pablo said, my bad. So Preki comes into this game 41, 31, and 21 as a head coach. 3-3-1 all time against Colorado. Is there anything distinctive of his coaching style that strikes you top of mind, Marcelo?
No, you know what? He had Chivas already.
Yep.
From Bob Bradley, they already had that machine kind of rolling. This is a whole new thing for Preki. He comes in, players were already picked. He had to come in November, start looking for new players. So, you know, it's going to take time for a coach to come in and form a team. And, you know, the important thing about new coaches going in, it's about getting the players' trust and getting players to believe in the philosophy and the system and everybody being on the same page. So, you know, they're still going through those kind of situations. Like you said, it feels like preseason, you're just getting your players in. And now do the players believe in the philosophy he's bringing to the club?
That philosophy and system, is it in tune with Mo Johnson too? You know, they know each other.
Yeah, I mean, Mo Johnson as a director of soccer would never hire, I don't think, would ever hire somebody. I would never hire somebody that didn't believe in what we were trying to do, the system. But it's also Preki. You know, Preki's team, it's his system and it's his vision.
Clark keeps his run going. What a pass by Cummings, trying to get it on his left. Can't. And now going to come back out with it. Omar made a nice little pass trying to chip the keeper back post, or at least find Jamie Smith, but too much. Just an FYI, Major League Soccer has a brand new website, MLSsoccer.com, and you can visit it to get breaking news, scores, stats, everything MLS, and incredible new videos. Log on to MLSsoccer.com. The Renowitz. Smith took a look. It's hammered off the ball by Saric, and now the Rapids get a restart in their midfield. Better showing from Jamie. I know he was coming off an injury. Tough to get into that Kansas City game last week. Played 65 in the U.S. Open Cup game. Looks like he's a little bit more in tune. You
know, it's going to take time, one, for him to get his fitness back in, to get that confidence to go at people. So, yeah, you know, the important thing is, one, that his hamstring's feeling better. The surgery finally is over with. And he's getting some playing time in some minutes. You saw some of the balls he laid out to Omar Cummings. You can just see the ability, the vision he has of playing balls, trying to split balls through people.
Good vision. Saric wins this restart. Rapids will return the rebound here and get to the defensive side. Quick restart as we're in the 45th minute. Rosario, Camorra now away. No stoppage time will be added on. The Rapids trying to get into the locker room with this 1-0 lead, and there's a card coming up on this hard tackle on Connor Casey. So Martin Saric will have a yellow prior to halftime. He was frustrated after being involved in 3 or 4 tight spots there at midfield, and that'll earn him a yellow. And I imagine Ricardo Salazar will let the Rapids give this a go and then call it for 45. And he'll do it immediately and call it a first half. You're up 1-0 on the PK.
Hey, you know what? They're up 1-0. They got the PK. Second half, maybe push the pace a little more. You've got them kind of on the ropes. Try to get that second goal and put the game out of reach.
Connor Casey beat that man, Stephen Fry, in the 24th minute. So at the end of the first half, the Rapids up on Toronto FC 1-0. You're watching Colorado Rapids soccer right here on KWGN Channel 2. Coming up after the break, stay tuned. It's the Dick's Sporting Goods halftime report. And we will hear from the head coach, Gary Smith, on the first 45. Rapids with the 1-0 lead. Welcome back. About to start the second half. The Rapids up 1-0. Gary Smith joins us for a brief time. Coach, just what you thought about the first 45 and what you told your team at halftime.
Well, I thought it was a bright start. Disappointed we haven't created a little bit more. We've got some good areas out wide, but the final delivery's been, you know, less than what we would like. I think the build-up play's been very, very decent. Just like to see a few more efforts at goal, but in general, very, very pleased.
Thank you, Coach. Good enough. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
It's Gary Smith. I think we kind of said as much in the first half, you know. Some decent play down the flanks. I think Jamie Smith has come in and had an impact in this game, and he's been on that side of the field that I kind of thought maybe the team could exploit. And then you've got Colin Clark always running on the left side.
Yep. Now, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you brought in, Bellucci wasn't doing that much. You know, he's more of a central player, the creator player. Jamie Smith is what they brought in last year to work the flanks, to get in behind people, and to get some crosses off.
And the Rapids will start it up on the left side. Earls. Stepped down by the Braca. De Rosario plays Barrett. A bit more curl on that. Could have been a great ball. Here's Pickens. Moore gets the distribution. Ronald Adekora to Stephen Fry. No subs for the Rapids here as we start the second half. And so Preki keeps the same side out as well. Tough ball, and Lorenovich just ran right through it. Cummings going to try to go to goal. He didn't get anything on that one. A couple of weeks ago, that home game, the home opener for the Rapids, they came out just flat at the start of the second half, and that's, you know, when they lost the game, the PK was established. McBride scored on that, and then Chicago ended up winning that game.
Well, it's always about setting the tone. You want to come out and you want to put some pressure on the other team. And that's something Colorado didn't do against Chicago. This is a little different. You've seen him already trying to push the ball down the field with Earls trying to bend one into Connor Casey. So a little better, but they definitely need to step on the gas the first 10 minutes.
Casey trying to gain control, able to hold off two players and win a free kick. And there is Connor Casey as he rolls to the forward spot. Well, De Rosario's been kind of quiet, the captain against the Rapids. Acquired in that trade in December of '08 by Toronto. He's only scored once against Colorado as a member of Toronto, but has all 3 of their goals this season. Here's Marvell Wynn. Wynn playing in his 100th game today. You know what I did read too? That Pablo Mastroeni passed you in minutes played as a Rapid for second all time to Chris Henderson. And it said that if you add up his minutes and make them hours and all.
Yes, keep going.
You played about 9 straight days as a Rapid. You did, Marcelo, in your time.
Wow, that's why I don't like stats that much. That's it, 9 days?
It seems like more, doesn't it? I agree. I thought it was going to be like...
That doesn't count as practice time, though.
No, but you would think it'd be like you're thinking it seems like about a month.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no.
Yeah, hour and a half a week. Hey, you can't do it.
Wow, 9 days out of a 6-year career.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. You know, that's what time-wise,
That flies.
It's up to about. Yeah.
So Pablo's played 10 days now?
He's played 9. I'm assuming he just passed, so you're calling it even in terms of that. That's,
no.
You know, I was rounding up or down either way. So
Can I ask where you read this?
In the Rapids game.
Okay.
That's where. Hey, I gotta admit, with 15 years, you know, I like the history.
Yeah, no. There's no doubt.
Of the league, and in particular, you know, living in Colorado for the entire time.
Yeah.
Except I kind of missed that first season, even though I was here. I was actually doing stuff with the Foxes then.
Yes.
Because they were still playing.
Yes.
At Greyhound Park.
Lauren Donaldson.
Yes.
Chris Martinez at that time too, still, right?
Marty and Rivers.
Yeah.
Woldy.
Woldy
was playing then.
The good old days. Colorado Foxes.
Your team, right?
Colorado Foxes, yeah.
Cronin inside to Guzman, trying to get through. Lorenovich there. That's hung up, no call. De Rosario, they come out with the play on. Looking to get a little space. Trying to switch things. Adekora. Clark can turn. Head up. Cuts it back. Now Earls. Far side, Kimura on the right. Cummings shows. Tough pass. Sarge comes through. Clark, a little pressure. LaBroca saw it. The first decision is just not there. You know, your first thought or idea is,
well, there's no movement off the ball. You can see when LaBroca looked up, he was waiting. He was waiting for somebody to move into space. The same thing with De Rosario on the side. He was waiting for somebody to move, and nobody's moving.
Smith Cummings is on, tried to kind of, I don't know whether they wanted Cummings on that slash or trying to let it go through to Casey.
It was a dummy run. It was a dummy run to see if he took it, to see if the defender would go with him, and it opened up that space. Great opportunity, great look. The idea was right, but I also think, you know what, Toronto's tired. Most times he may follow. Right now, they're not going to follow.
Cronin plays Barrett, gets it back. Atakora will switch sides. Earls closes down. Trying to beat LaBroca to it. And he'll dribble out of it. Barrett, nice run. Trying to beat Wynn. One-timer, Wynn got there to get the block. Boy, that was blocked within 1 inch of hitting it. You know those, Marcel, where you hit it and you're like, what? I didn't see him.
But the speed that he closed down with was ridiculous. Great move by Barrett. That run bending away, great run. But you see Marvell Wynn, the close down speed he has was fantastic.
I'm sure we'll take a look at that again here. The Rapids kind of trying to push here. Jamie Smith now trying to pick out Connor Casey. That's too much. Yeah, Barrett went off ball, showed, got that sent to him, and it was 1 or 2 hops and he hit it, and Wynn just, it was like he sat on it.
It was perfect timing because it didn't hit and rebound both at the same time. It just smushed and dropped.
It was the smush block.
Is that not a cool sound though when you hear that?
Right.
Crack.
Especially when you're the defender and you know you hear it and you know it's gone nowhere.
See, I would panic because I'm not as fast as Marvell. So Marvell didn't panic.
Barrett again tried to get over the top. They looked forward, didn't play him. And broke a lot of air under that one. Going to go to goal. Nobody's showing. There's Larenowitz. Did enough. Clark cuts it. Earls. Rapids will push forward. Cummings making a run. Trying to get rewarded over the top. Omar trying to beat Atakora. Does not have numbers. Now Casey on the trail at about 20. Touches over the toe. Larenowitz gives it a look. Now trying to find Casey, and Clark is going to be able to keep it in. Earls is trailing if he wants him. Trying to go through Atakora. Now he'll use his trailer. Pablo's in the middle, square wide open. Has Larenowitz, or wants to switch fields, he does. Smith shows. Kimura, nice overlap. Smith comes through, plays Kimura a little bit too tight, and he didn't cut it enough.
A little wider, just a little wider.
Another 5 feet, he would have been on it. And they gave the throw into Harden as Kimura is down after that run. As De Guzman keeps running forward, Kimura is up. We'll take a look at what happened to Kimura.
Let's take a look. Here comes the attack. Good timing on the attack. You can see he went right through the ball and right through Kimura's ankle. Ball was just played a little too tight, a little wider. Kimura maybe can get a first-time shot or a first-time cross in there. Harden does a nice job. He sees it, it's played in, he times it perfectly, and those are the best kind of tackles. You get the ball, you get a leg, and you sweep right through.
Yeah, he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
That ball was just thrown by John Conway, who's the backup keeper on the bench. I forgot how big John Conway is.
Until he walked by us?
Yeah, and that's right, 6'6", 215,
But I will say, this is an average-sized team.
Yes.
Toronto, compared to when we sat in that the tunnel
Chicago.
and we saw Chicago walk by.
Smith, Cummings, running off ball. Gonna try to beat Kahn to it. Look at him put on the Jets. Has Kimura if he wants. Now looks inside. Why not? Atakora had to head one out early on a cross by Cummings. Has to do it again. Well, there's Marvell Wynn, who's going to have to catch up again. And look at him beat De Rosario to it. That was impressive in the open field because that was just a miscommunication play and one you couldn't even anticipate.
You know, I got to say, what was Toronto thinking to let a guy like that go? That kind of pace in the back.
And I've been critical of their left backs here today.
No. But, you know, you look at it and you say, you got a guy with such athleticism, such great pace. And Toronto never tried him as a center back. They just said, you're a left back or a right back.
Casey Little Meg, got to play Clark here. He does. Can Clark run on it? One-timer wins the corner. Again, did what he had to. But Casey had a nice little Meg and got it up to Colin Clark. Here comes another corner kick. And Colin had to get to that one in order to catch it before it ran.
Ball's got a little pace on it. You can see the ball really starting to roll on this grass. It's moving. The players have got to move a little faster. Colin Clark, you saw Omar Cummings before on the other ball.
Rapids jockey for position in the box. Almost came down there to Lorenowitz. Touched back. Fry will play it away.
Just a good ball. Look at this ball right on top of the 6. Zurich does a nice job right there. He really does.
Lorenowitz got a little hooked up, couldn't get through. We're through 56 minutes into the 57th. And we'll see probably a few moves here by either side as we come up on the hour mark. Barrett able to trap and hold. Good ball. Onside. 1v1. Cronin beats Pickens, gets tripped up. Penalty kick. And this changes everything. As we were looking at the substitutions about to come on, but it was Cronin that made the move on Pickens, and Toronto has a chance to even things up from the spot.
Well, that's a great ball. Look at the turn. They're playing the offsides. Here comes Cronin. Quick cut. Wow. Pickens lucky he didn't get a yellow card.
Off his feet.
Off his feet. Look at the way he leaves his foot. 2 goes into the tackle right there. Great play by Cronin. You know what? Colorado got caught flat. They got caught flat. Great second run in by Cronin. Gets in behind.
If you saw the pregame show, you talked about set pieces, free kicks, and
You didn't talk about penalty kicks.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's different though.
Yeah.
It's not. I know it's a set piece, but you got to win the PK first.
Yeah, no. And both teams, you know what? Omar Cummings did a great job running at a guy, and here, you know what? Just a good play.
Good shot there, Rosario and Pickens. And Pickens guessed right, but enough pace on that. And it's now 1-1.
Twice now he's guessed right. Against Brian McBride, he picked the right way.
So De Rosario scores for the 66th time in his career. Watch Pickens on the line.
He gets it. Look, there's not much room. He gets a hand on that. He gets a hand and just touches that. Reads it well, but De Rosario, too much pace and puts it right into that corner.
So Pickens and the Rapids kind of start over again as the Rapids will make some moves. Wells Thompson is on for Jamie Smith and will slide into the right midfield spot. There's Pickens, who guessed right on De Rosario. So Rosario has all 4 goals for Toronto FC thus far this season. There's the substitution for the Rapids. Sam Cronin. Out of Wake Forest, able to draw that foul. And here we are, pushing the hour mark, tied at 1. They got away from Clark. And here comes Jacob Peterson, in the former Rapid. He steps in for another former Rapid, Nick LaBroca. So Peterson on for LaBroca here in the 60th minute. Nice hand from the Rapids fans. Former Indiana Hoosier, still only 24. We talked to him prior to the game. Happy to be back in Colorado. Going to take an extra day after this match and do some visiting. Cronin tries to play one over the top to Barrett, and it runs to Pickens. Out to Wells Thompson. First touch. Thompson 2 goals in the U.S. Open Cup game at Kansas City on Tuesday. The 2 the Rapids needed to win 2-1. He holds. Clark with the rolls on the overlap. Pablo square. Looks for a runner, has nothing. Lorenowitz, Barrett from behind, knocks it away. Play on because Earls had it. Clark sends one. Casey's back post and it runs. Thompson did a good job to keep that in. And I think he's going to win that throw.
And fresh legs, you need a little
Yeah.
bit of injection after that. You put him in there. He's running around, he's fighting. You saw him dribble inside.
And he's offside here. It's not fair if you're the back four, you see that pop up, you know what's going up, you step up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's De Rosario. He and Connor Casey have scored penalty kicks, and we're even at 1. Fry trying to go up over the top. Mora heads it down. Lorenowitz sees it at his feet. Thompson. Go right towards goal with a fresh leg. Sends one through. Fry there. Almost cheating a little bit and off his line.
Yeah, wow. I thought that was going wide. He was going to watch it go wide, but yeah. You can see he was cheating a little bit of that near post. Well, that's what we talked about. Look at Wells Thompson going in there, cheating a little bit. You can see it moving a little bit. He comes off his line. He's got to kind of handcuff it down. You know, I think that's a difference a little bit already. You can see Jamie Smith never really ran at somebody. He was looking at balls. You've seen Wells Thompson now 3 balls. He's already starting to push the pace. He's starting to go at players.
Hey, if you want more incredible MLS action with over 150 games, you got to check out Direct Kick. That package is available as it's sent through, and Cummings comes through with the header. Get your Direct Kick package at MLSsoccer.com. There's Omar who slashed through on that ball that Earls played in. Much better work down the flanks for the Rapids. They've had, it seems like an infinite more crosses, you know,
Yeah,
and
the last game.
at least chances
Yeah.
to think that way.
Well, I remember the Chicago game. Never really got down the wing and never really got too many crosses off. Now, more crosses. The problem is, like Gary said at halftime, the quality. The quality of the cross is just a little off. There's Omar Cummings getting up. Just an easy one for Fry. Just gets there nice and easy, handles it. But it's different. You've seen Colin Clark go down the left-hand side. Now you've seen Earls go down the left-hand side and get a few crosses off.
Casey trying to come through with it. Can't do it. Cronin. De Guzman has De Rosario there. His option is Peterson on the right side. Earls finds Clark, but Clark's touch eludes him. Fortunately, Pablo wins it back. Now Clark with Cummings waiting to make a run. You got to play him tonight. Almost a great ball. Anacora got a right foot on it.
That's a great play by Anacora. A little sequence right there. 2 teams, they lost the ball real quick. Pablo wins it back. Out to Colin Clark. Clark tries to get that around. Anacora does a great job sprawling out to make sure that ball doesn't get. If it gets by, he's on. He's gone.
Danny Earls running down to take this corner. Yeah, they looked at each other
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you have that connection. So not a corner throw in. It's for Cummings in the box. Headed down. Not out. Pablo. Lorenowitz now. Pablo not much. Earls can't keep it in. Throw in coming up Toronto. We mentioned the Rapids will hit the road for the next 2 at New England at Seattle. Toronto plays Seattle at home next weekend. And then they go to Real Salt Lake, Chicago at home, then at LA. So tough stretch of 4 games. Peterson. Step over, De Guzman on the run. Toronto FC getting in the box, headed out by Moore. Time for Clark. Steps on it. Looks up, thinks about pushing. He's going to run to the flag. Trying to beat 2. The throw in down near the corner. Substitution time again for Preki. And Toronto FC Chad Barrett will come off. You see Barrett, the UCLA product, and O'Brien White out of UConn will step on and go up top for Chad Barrett. So O'Brien White, who was able to draw a penalty kick last week for Toronto FC at home. Rose kept it in. Clark, not much control, trying to split. The defenders can't do it. Toronto FC leads this series 4-2 and 9-6 in goals. It's fairly even and low scoring at home and home last year. It was a 1-0 win for the Rapids here, and then a 3-2 loss on the road. And that game on the road, that game was 1-1 till the 70th minute. Not even there yet. Peterson's going to give it a go. Can't get it on the frame. By Kahn. It's White with the fresh legs over there. Wells Thompson. Thompson will dribble through. Back to midfield, still on it. Plays Clark. Wells going to try to catch up, give him another option. Cummings going to have to turn. Couldn't do it. De Guzman away. Stuck from behind by Cummings. And the Rapids will make another substitution. Colin Clark's going to come off Marcelo, and we'll see one of the newest Rapids, Quincy Amarikwa, who was in last week, and saw some action in Kansas City, acquired from San Jose in the last couple of weeks.
I thought Clark did all right. You know, he got up and down the wing. He created some opportunities. You know, we got to remember too, him and if you remember Peterson when he was here with the Rapids too, was coming off an ACL. So these guys can take a little time to get their fitness.
Yeah, there's always that 1 or 2 touches on his dribble that kind of either you run over it or you just kind of get stuck. You know what I mean? Or,
yep. It takes time to get that touch back. You know, I mean, it's time to get the confidence back. When Colin Clark got hurt, man, he was in good form, very good form, and same with Peterson physically. Their technical was there, everything was there. So yeah, you know, it's going to take a little time for both of them to get, especially fitness. And you heard Peterson the other day. I played the first time I played the other day. My fitness, I'm still working on my fitness, so it's going to take a little time.
Trying to go over the top to Cummings, trying to run on this and beat Ty Harden. And Harden's going to have to just clear it. Did a decent job there. Don't miss the Rapids' brand new supporters terrace. This year the Rapids have constructed the only European-style terrace structure. You're looking at it right there. It's the only one in the USA here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. And if you want to be a part of that, you can get season tickets there for only $216. Guarantee your spot at ColoradoRapids.com. Now O'Brien White over the top. Moore beats him. Tries to trap it down to himself. Takes the choice and knocking it here to Earls.
That's some confidence play right there. He doesn't kick it out of bounds. He just a little sombrerito over the top of his head, pulls it back down.
Good touch, Thompson. Connor Casey's had some nice reads on those type of passes in the game. Thompson coming through, tripped up. And the whistle blows on Zaric, who already has a yellow. Just kind of stuck a knee on Thompson going through.
Well, we talked about what Thompson, when you look at it, you just think just enough for the boop, he comes inside. Zaric has no choice. Thompson does a nice job of cutting this ball inside. Harden slips, look at that quick cut. Couldn't control himself. Tell you what, Thompson's come in and done a nice job. 2 or 3 runs down the right-hand side. Now he's moved over to the left. You see him cutting inside.
And now you see him near the circle at the top of the 18 as the Rapids get ready for a dangerous restart. Lorenowitz on it with the right. And Thompson will move in towards the 18. See the clock through 70. And Larentowicz goes to goal and scores! And the fans erupt here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park as Jeff Larentowicz gets it through the wall, near side. And the Rapids have the 2-1 lead. The supporters terrace enjoying it. They got a bird's eye view of that one coming through the wall. You're up just high enough that you can see everything develop in front of you, in front of that goal. And for Jeff Larentowicz, his first goal as a Rapid gives the team a 2-1 lead.
We talked about power. We talked about everything. You know what? And that's, you can see Fry right there. Look at him. Great shot. He picks the wall. Look at the wall splitting right there. He moves out of the way. Perfect alignment. He puts it right where De Guzman jumps. Look at Larentowicz. He's going to that near post. De Guzman dives out of the way. If you're watching, that's the way you hit a ball, and that's the way that you don't move out of the way. For a goalkeeper, that's a nightmare because that's his corner taking the wall, supposed to take that.
Here's Larentowicz again as he clears it. Larentowicz had the most experience against Toronto FC of any Rapids player. 7 games, of course, being with the Revolution, and now he scores his 10th goal in MLS play. We were talking about the wall last week.
Yep.
And about whether you should, whether you should jump or
okay,
not.
but
Nobody else jumped.
It doesn't matter. He jumped up and out of the way.
I know.
He opened up the gap. That's why Fry was yelling, "Why did you close? You're supposed to jump straight up."
Right. The other guys on the wall looked at him like.
Yeah. I have never seen anybody jump out of the way on a shot like that. And Larentowicz, you know what? Good for him. He put it right where he wanted, the near post, and he put it in the back of the net.
Because really, that should have just hit somebody and came back to him.
Yeah.
There's Peterson. He'll send one in with the right. Toronto's got everybody in the box except for Peterson and 3 others. That gets by Kimura, and then it's mishit by Kahn and played back to Cronin. Toronto's got to keep things forward with their numbers. And that's another tough ball that went right to Pickens. Here's a look at the wall, what we were talking about, jumping up and out.
If he jumps straight up, look at it. He jumps out of the way in front of somebody else. Look at that, completely dives, jumps out of the way. Well, you can see Larentowicz has the corner picked out, just doesn't get underneath it enough. But that's what drives the coach crazy. You work on that all week, sacrifice yourself for the team. He didn't sacrifice himself, he jumped out of the way.
So you said he had the corner picked out because he wanted to go over top of the wall and get a little bit more.
Exactly.
And hit it well enough that you're going to curl it right in.
You know, a little bit of luck goes a long way.
Hey.
Just like when the guy jumps and he goes underneath the wall. Perfect.
Cummings on the run, still on it. Plays Wells Thompson, takes a shot, one-timer Fry there, had to sprawl out and make the save. Good work by the Rapids, of course, with Omar Cummings on the dribble. Now over the top, De Rosario, Pickens way off his line. Flag is up. Let's take a look at Cummings coming through, and he plays Wells Thompson here.
Well, better movement of the ball. Look at this ball. Great little ball in right here. Wells Thompson tries to bend it around. Look at that. Just avoids a runner. Puts it. He's got it picked out. Just can't bend it far enough around. A little wider would have been in.
Now, usually they say stay over the ball, but in that case, if he bends back a little bit, as you look at shots on, here comes Amakarwa, and he rolls one through. You know how you can lean back just a little bit, but it may run on you, but Thompson hit it first time.
Yeah, but right there, you know, sometimes guys think he's going near post. He's trying to open up his body so he can bend that to that far post,
Amarikwa just had that last run. Rapids trying to keep the pressure on with their 2-1 lead. Here in the 75th minute. Colorado scored first on a PK by Connor Casey. De Rosario with the ball, evened it up from the spot. As Omar Cummings and Sam Cronin were able to win fouls in the box. Thompson, Amarikwa gets held up, and I think it's a good, that's a call on Colorado? Well, to me, that's the case. The defender really not having a choice.
Like he slipped.
Just knowing he's going to get beat. No.
Well, let's see. Here comes Wells Thompson. He sees the run. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's a foul in Colorado on Amarikwa. Not really sure on that one.
Kahn through midfield. It's one of those defenders that gets there and says, wait a minute.
I'll dive in his path. Yes, sir.
Harden's not going to be able to catch up to that, so throw in on the far side as Kimura will collect and throw it in. Job by Casey. Thought about it. Touches it to Wells Thompson. Cummings is on the far side. Omar brings it down. Has Lorenowitz on a trail. Got to hit this one. Lorenowitz a cracker. Knocked away by Kahn.
This is better movement by Colorado. From one side of the field, good switch to the other side of the field. A good layback. Lorenowitz tries to hit one. You know, better, much better. It's starting to pick up for them.
Rosario try to play O'Brien White. Pickens is there, a little bit too much pace. Cummings able to come through, stays on it, play on. Now he has it, plays Casey. Trying to beat the keeper, Fry solid.
It's that final touch, that final pass. Everybody just seems to be striking that ball just a little too hard.
Here's White who comes through as we take a look at the replay.
Well, look at, we talked about strength, the craftiness. He gets in just, look at that, rolling just a bit too hard. It's that final pass that Colorado's lacking right now.
Kimura. Amarikwa now lays it off. Cummings sees Thompson. Good ball to see middle of the field. Thompson taking off the dribble. Some of the best soccer of the season the last 10 minutes for the Rapids. As the flag is up on De Rosario. Marcelo, after the game, you have your From the Pitch radio show from 5 to 7 on Mile High Sports Radio. That's AM 1510. Do you have guests lined up, or is it going to be dictated by the outcome of the game?
It'll be now. You know, we'll have some of the players come down. We'll have Rich Mahoney call in. So we've got a few people from Colorado going to come down and talk about the game. Something new, something different we're going to try.
Normally that show airs from 4 to 6 on Sundays. Harden plays one through, and Wynn does enough again. Pickens is going to have to clear it. Gets a lot of air under that. Kimura has time. Went over the top, and Fry grab it. Try to get things going again for Toronto. So Precky's going to bring in another ex-Rapid here in the last 10 or so to add some, as we know, because it's going to be Dan Gargan, at least going to add some pace and tenacity.
Some fresh legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll make that substitution now. That's what we're waiting for. So Saric is off. So he'll head off. And Dan Gargan, another former Rapid, back in action here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Gargan will go into a midfield role, touch one up. Moore's probably just going to be happy to play it out, and does. Gargan's got the long throw, doesn't he? It's always dangerous, headed away by Moore. Out to the right. This is trouble for Harden because Cummings is there. Omar didn't know Peterson was there. Kimura, though, finds Lorenowitz. Play on. Amarikwa with options. dribbles too much and is taken out of it, still on it somehow. But you know, you usually don't win those 3v1 battles, and he didn't this time around.
You know what? You gotta love it. He runs through the guy. He still gets the ball. He chases the guy back. Young, fresh legs.
Gargan, Earls 1v1. Finds De Rosario. That's the spot of the field where you think he's more useful, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Where you're
You
showing
would
right
think,
there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're in the offensive zone, but boy, Cummings has had all kinds of space here on that side. Kamara's overlapping. He's got some chances, but going to go right to goal with the left still on it. And finally take it away. Got to get some of those passes going there. You got to.
Yeah.
You got to.
You attracted enough bodies into the middle of the field.
Somebody's
that if
open.
he would have slowed down a little bit, he would have slowed a little more. Maybe could have got Kimura on the outside.
Yeah, on the overlap. Giveaway. Pablo. It's kind of that look of like, let's go. Thompson. Casey over midfield. Cummings making a run. Right through. He's on. Can he be Fry? Can't do it. Fry comes out just over the 18. Well,
Good movement.
The fans love this last 15
no.
minutes. Yeah, that movement coming across for that kind of a through ball.
Great ball. Look at Connor Casey. He already sees it. He sets him up. Look at that ball. Just, we talked about that final pass. Just a little too hard. We've seen it 2 or 3 times. Little softer, delicate touch. Colorado's in 2 or 3 times behind Toronto's defense.
So here in the 83rd minute, Earls will come out on the left side, and Scotty Palguda is going to come in with some fresh legs. A little defensive help in the back.
That should be it, right?
Kamara wanted a handball, didn't get it. Cronin falls down, and a foul called. Yep, Cronin was down too far on the ground, and the Rapids will win it. I figured it was a dangerous play.
Yes. You would think.
Marcelo looked at me like, I don't know, I'm guessing. I know you can't sit on the ball. And
Yeah, it's a dangerous play.
right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people like you got to come kick at
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And you're sitting on the ball. What do you? Lorenowitz. Service in. Away by Kahn. Marvell win. You know what, Kamara, the more I watch Kamara, he is so good with tight space. And even if you hang him out and you get that little pass.
You got to give the guy a lot of credit.
You do, don't you?
He stays after practice. He's there early. He's working on his game. And you can just see how much better his feet have gotten. Technically, his physical ability we've already talked about.
Is there a call on this? Connor Casey got pulled out of the box, and Casey's going to win another PK. Lorenowitz sent that cross in, and Usanov was all over Casey. Ricardo Salazar doesn't want to hear any of the complaining. They're going to put it from the spot, and it's going to be Fry against Connor Casey once again.
Let's take a look. Here he is right here. There's the grab.
He's got an arm around him.
He's got 2. He's got 2. You can see the way the right hand goes, the left hand goes. Then they kind of stumble and trip, and that's, you know, you got your hands on him and you're falling down, it's going to be called every time.
It's the hands.
If the hands are in the air and he trips, no, but both hands were wrapped and then they stumble over each other, I think that's an easy call for the ref.
Connor Casey in the 24th minute, a little chip over Fry from the spot. We'll see what he does here in the 85th minute. Rapids trying to take a commanding 3-1 lead. Waiting for the whistle. You'll see Fry's first move from this shot. 3-1. So Connor Casey again from the spot. And the supporters enjoy it even more. Rapids with a 3-1 lead and the final 5+ to go. It's that tandem up top of Cummings and Connor Casey. So dynamic and so hard to handle.
Well, we talked about keeping the goalkeeper off, as you know,
keeping him on his toes, not knowing where it's going to go. He doesn't know if it's going to go the right like he did last time. Is he going to chip me? And he switches it up, and look at this. Puts it right in the corner.
Side netting.
Side netting. Fry's got no chance. Great job there. Great PK. And you know what? And you got to like what Connor Casey's done. He's moved it around. He hasn't stayed at the same time. He chipped this time. Nobody, I didn't think he would chip. Then he goes to the opposite side that he went against Kansas City. So now, next game, if he gets one, he's going to keep the goalkeeper thinking.
Far side, Kimura. Trying to knock it again, and finally wins the goal kick.
I'll say this right now, looking at Toronto, you could just see Colorado's just controlled the day. Just controlled it. They moved it when they wanted to. They made one mistake to give up the goal, the ball in behind, the penalty kick. But overall, Colorado's had such the run of the play throughout the game.
Pickens with a goal kick. Trying to find Casey. Get something on it. Wells Thompson, Pablo keeps it up. Harden's going to have Cummings run right at him. There's Cummings again. Wins it, trying to beat Harden. Shoulder to shoulder.
All the running that Harden's done today, he's going to sleep well. Having to chase Omar Cummings all game long.
You know, he turns that ball around to it. It goes like 10, 12 feet. You're, go forward. Go forward.
Exactly.
I only got one more of these maybe in me. Here comes O'Brien White trying to get by Drew Moore. Moore toe poke away. Good job. So Casey has his PKs in the 24th and the 85th minute. Lorenowitz scores in the 71st minute on a set piece. And the Rapids have a 3-1 lead. Kahn plays De Rosario, win there. Out to Peterson. Right at Kimura. Tries to get a shot off. It's blocked down. And over to the east side of the stadium, the sun-drenched side. Goal kick coming up. De Rosario can't win it. Pushing the 89th minute. 3 minutes will be added on as the Rapids have their 3-1 lead. New England on the road. San Jose on the road. So you're not back home until the first week of May. Come out of this one, you're 2-1-1. You got to get some points in those games.
Important thing is to win the home games. Important thing is to win your home games. From there, you're gonna pick off 1 or 2 on the road, maybe 3, whatever you can get on the road as a bonus. But if you can win your home games and pick a win or 2 off the road like they did against Chivas, you know, if they can get a result out of one of the next 2 games, you're accumulating points.
Plays one long. Harden on the far side. Gargan's going to make a run, but there's Pranguda to knock it out. That's all you need at this stage of the game. Gargan touches it down the side. Pickens knocks it away. And Pickens made a great save. Kind of coming up a little tough after kind of an awkward look. And now he's got to turn around and get ready for a corner.
Wow.
I hope we see that again because
he hits the. It looks like he hits the post. That's why they were looking to see if he was okay.
We'll see it after this corner if we can. Jacob Peterson with the right. Gets it back. Now a little bit more air under it. Decent ball. It's going to run all the way to the opposite side. Let's take a look here.
Ball going across. Pickens a great little touch. Yeah, lands right at the bottom. But you know, it's 2 games in a row now. They've mishit, but he's been there every time. Far post. We saw it against Kansas City. Makes a great save.
That's a good
and
save.
right there, yeah, going backwards, but
He's a big
beat 6'4"
kid, and,
helps.
you know, yeah. We're kind of with that offhand.
Yep. Great save.
Because that thing's going in. I mean, I don't know whether Usmanov thought it would.
If it's not hitting the post, it's going in. I agree. 100%.
So 3 minutes of stoppage time. That's where we're at. Gargan and Moore. And Gargan's got to try to keep it in. Can't, so the goal kick coming up. And he'll complain about it. This is the time, though, when you're trailing, you can't complain and do anything to waste any time.
You know, you're 3-1, and you've got a minute and a half left. You're going to complain.
So you see the stoppage time counting down. Casey wins another one with everybody all over him. Pablo touches back. Arguda going to take the safe route and send it up. Today's save of the game is brought to you by XL Energy. XL Energy, responsible by nature. And here is your save of the game.
It just happened a minute ago. Ball going across. Pickens gets up. Great save right there to keep Toronto off the scoreboard.
And sacrifice. That's, you know, you can't see that post.
Lands right. It's twice he's hit the post this last 2 games.
See what's left in Toronto is all hands on deck up near the 18. Peterson sends it in. Still alive. Who's going to run it down? Drew Moore ran right at Gargan and wins the throw-in. Moore's in shape. He's still, his legs are still.
Oh, yeah.
He sprinted all out for that one.
Well, especially when you're so late in the game. But, you know, we talked about Colorado's did a nice job of bringing in some quality players, young players that are going to be around for a while. The Moores, the Wins, the Marvell Wins. You've got the Kimura. I mean, you've got a young, solid
Thompson.
defense. Paul Guda, Thompson, Lorenowitz. I mean, you've got a young team that's going to be around for a while. It's nice to see because teams that win MLS Cups are teams that keep the nucleus of it together.
Well, the Rapids, hopefully en route to an MLS Cup, win this match 3-1 as Connor Casey comes up with 2 from the spot. And Jeff Lorenowitz with a free kick. And Matt Pickens did enough to make it stand. 3-1 Rapids beat Toronto FC here at home. And the celebratory cannon going off here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. When we come back, we'll get you some of the highlights of this win by Gary Smith and his team. That's next here on KWGN Channel 2.